NHL hockey. It is hot outside. We are melting. But we're going to cool off because we're going to talk ice hockey. Playoff ice hockey. Am I right, Chris? But before we go there, I know I interrupted you there, but before we go there, qualifying rounds, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about how we did. What did you think about them? What did you think about how the NHL set up the stadiums? You know, how did that look? How did that come across to you when you were watching the games?
I think the NHL went great on eating a bowl of Rice Krispies on making the playoffs. That much nuts in a bowl of Rice Krispies. Because only you could possibly have a playoff system where teams that shouldn't have made the playoffs made the playoffs. Because they beat teams like
The
Penguins.
Yeah, the Penguins.
And
Edmonton Oilers.
Edmonton Oilers and
Toronto.
our good friends in Toronto.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it was cool and all. I liked it. It was interesting. I just didn't like...
Well, I personally think that the way they made the atmosphere of like the stands, how they covered those seats, the lighting, I liked the setup. You know, I'd rather have fans, but I liked it. There was no nets, so that was nice. And obviously, it kind of felt like a little club atmosphere with all the lights that they had going.
I do like the way they handled that piece, too. I did like the visual effects of the stadium, the way they handled the live streams of the fans on each side. It definitely had a cool feel, way better than the NBA. I know the NBA has done things with like...
They have the digital fans, which I don't like the way that looks.
Or they have cardboard cutouts in Major League Baseball, which is kind of
Yes,
funny.
but I saw Weekend at Bernie's, the Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's as one of the cardboard cutouts behind the mound. That was great.
I mean, I believe Nova will be attending a game.
All right. Okay, well, let's talk about how we did. You went 4 for 4. Well, not 4 for 4, sorry. You went 4 wins, 4 losses.
Yeah.
You got correct the Canes, the Islanders,
I knew they shut down those damn Rangers.
the Coyotes, and the Canucks. And I did not do as well. I went 2 wins, 6 losses. And I only got the Islanders and the Coyotes correct. Thank you, Phil, for helping me out there. Going back to what you said where you started, the Canadians, you know, obviously, we said it when I said Price can steal the games. And if Price stands on his head, the Penguins are in trouble. And that's exactly what happened there. And that's what I was afraid of. That's why I said it was going to go 5 games. It didn't even get there. You know, went 4 games, and the Penguins that last game looked like they were playing not to lose. And then you just have a goal at the end, and it's over. But Edmonton versus the Blackhawks, we both said sweep by Edmonton. And we were completely wrong there. It's just amazing how either Edmonton didn't come ready to play because they were thinking sweep, or just the Blackhawks' speed was just really good. And again, it's 5-game series.
It's only 3 games you got to win.
Yeah. So, and then Toronto really stunned me. I know the Blue Jackets are a good team.
Yeah.
But Toronto, I really thought was going to take that. Specifically, Game 4, down 3-0, come back, win the game, and then they look like the Penguins in Game 5. They didn't show up for Game 5.
Yeah,
So it was pretty crazy, and we have some pretty interesting matchups going on. But let's talk about one other great piece of news. No positive coronavirus tests inside the bubble of the NHL playoffs. So the 2 bubble cities are good.
Obviously, it's working out pretty well with the system they got in play, and let's just hope that it stays that way. NHL's kind of been on top of their game with all of this, kind of like the NBA, but I feel like the NHL secretly is stolen the show with how to handle all this with the coronavirus extremely well.
I really hope the NFL is paying attention because I really want football.
Yeah, because I got a draft coming up somehow, and I don't even know how that's happening.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about fantasy football drafts, and apparently some COVID IR spots or something because you don't know what's going to happen. All right, but playoff hockey starts today. Literally
3 hours, right?
No, in 1 hour.
1 hour.
First game's at 3 p.m. So we got to get to it. We got to get to our predictions. And let's start with the team who finished first in the East after the round robin, the Philadelphia Flyers. They went 3-0, and they are playing our good friends, the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, Canadians just slayed one Pennsylvania team.
Well,
So what do you think?
I'm taking definitely the Philadelphia Flyers over Montreal. I'm going to go in 6. I believe that their goaltending is what's going to keep Philadelphia from really stealing the show. I mean, the last time, I believe that the Flyers, what is it? Carter, what's the guy's name? In Philly?
Yes.
Carter Hart, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's insane. I don't remember the last time any time Philadelphia even had something notorious in depth like that.
He's their young goaltender, and he's getting much needed playoff experience.
Yeah.
And Philly, before the whole season went on pause, they were one of the hottest teams in hockey. That's how they got ahead of the Penguins. Penguins free fell. They seem to continue that.
It is scary because Montreal still got Price.
Yes.
I just don't know if I think that Montreal beat the Penguins also based on our goaltending for Pittsburgh was horrendous. So if
I agree with that. I think that they played really well defensively. Shea Weber was amazing in defense. I think that was the best defense he's played since he came to the Canadiens. But I do agree with you. I think Price's magic runs out. I think they get to steal a game or two, but I just think that Philadelphia continues to cruise, as much as it pains me to say it. And I actually agree with you. I think it's going to be a 6-game series, and Philadelphia takes it 4-2.
Okay.
All right, and you agreed with that. So let us go to the Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Well, let me start here, because Victor Hedman, and Stamkos, they might not play. Their health is something that you have to watch. If those guys are not in the lineup, I know Tampa Bay still has a ton of other people, and their goaltending is solid. But if those guys are not in the lineup, I don't know how you can go with Tampa Bay. I think it's going to be close, but I think that the Torts, John Tortorella, he just took out maybe one of the high-power offenses, Toronto.
Yep.
You look at Lightning,
Yep.
their high-power offense maybe shorthanded a few people, and I think this is just a repeat. I think that the Jackets do beat the Lightning. I think it's going to be 7 games, and I do want to recall everyone. Last year, the Jackets swept the Lightning out of the playoffs in the first round, and I think they know how to play them. John Tortorella knows how to play this Lightning team.
I mean, you pretty much stole every word out of my mouth. 7 games. I think the Blue Jackets, especially with those key injuries that you cannot have, and I just simply say, like, I remember the 2011-2012 Rangers, similar team, under John Tortorella. I think he's taking down the Blue Jackets. I think they're taking down the Lightning. Especially without those key players. I don't know how that's going to happen. But I do believe it's going 7 games.
Yo, I think it's going to go 7 games. Even without those players, or even if they're not 100%, the Lightning are a great team. So, all right. Your favorite team's coming up.
Oh, my God.
The Washington Capitals versus the New York Islanders. Let's give New York a little love here. Go ahead, Chris. I'm going to let you go first on this one.
I'm going to ironically say that I cannot stand both of these teams for many reasons. However, I could talk about them all day. My good pal, Mr. Tom Wilson, shout out to him. Trade him to the Penguins. I want him.
Hashtag Tom Wilson.
Hashtag Tom Wilson to Penguins. I just feel like if we take roughing calls, we might as well take them well, and he knows how to do that. I predict that. I feel like this game's going to go 7 games. It can go either way for many reasons. However, I do believe that the key thing that should make this,
Tilted.
basically is just Barry Trotz shutting down Ovechkin. I think that Barry Trotz is going to know exactly how to shut down those key lines, take out some power. I like, obviously, the Islanders. I don't like them. I don't even know how to say how I like them, but I'm just getting this conversation with. I'm going to pick the Islanders in 7. Barry Trotz shutting down the Ovechkin line. Tom Wilson probably getting ejected in the 3rd game for doing something crazy.
Yeah.
Which is something to watch for. I think it's a series to watch. If I was going to watch any series, Islanders Washington is the series I want to
You
watch.
can only choose one. Yeah,
Yep.
this is definitely a good series to watch. And yes, Barry Trotz playing against, coaching against his old team. He knows exactly what to do, how to beat them. He's very well. The Islanders' defense is really, really, really good. And if they do what they did to the Penguins last year to Washington, I mean, again, they can definitely get by them. I'm actually going 6 games. I think the Islanders clean them up in 6 games. I think Tom Wilson does something stupid, ends up costing his team a game. So, yeah. All right. Let's finish off the Eastern Conference with the Boston Bruins versus the Carolina Hurricanes.
That's a simple for me. I'm going Carolina in 5.
5. Wow.
Yeah.
5.
I think that the Canes are machine-like dismantling mode, like they just did to the Rangers. Hashtag Ranger fans. I can't pronounce his name, but have fun getting that #1 draft pick now. Let's see what you do with that. And Mr. Lafreniere, I think it's his name is.
I don't know how to pronounce
Would
it.
have loved him in Pittsburgh, but
Well, they only had a 12% chance.
12% chance. But Rangers, sorry about that, but congrats on that pick. I still am picking the Canes over Boston. I like the tandem in the net, and I just like the way they come out, and they're explosive, and I think they're going to dominate
Sebastian Aho has been playing lights out hockey.
Yeah.
They're getting Hamilton back. And Andrei Svechnikov, he's been amazing, and I hopefully pronounced his name really well. And Boston looked sleepy.
Yeah, they
In the
only really had
qualifiers,
3 guys really score.
They did nothing.
Yeah,
And that's why they're actually the last ranked team. It went Philly,
yeah.
it went Lightning, it went Caps, and it went Boston for the round robin. And yeah, remember they're the only team at the pause that had over 100 points. So they were the best team in hockey, and now we're just sending them out in a hurricane. So I don't know what to say there, but I'm saying 6. I'm saying 6 games. I'm saying it's going to take one more game. I think Boston, they are a good team. If they wake up, it might even go 7, but I think the Canes are just going to be too much to deal with. And that leads us to the West Coast. And we're going to start with the Vegas Golden Knights, who are the #1 seed in the West, versus the Chicago Blackhawks, who we just said, just upset Edmonton. I think that was even more of an upset than Montreal. Because with Montreal, you were like, oh, they can get, they can steal some games with Carey Price. I don't think anyone thought Crawford was going to steal a game against Edmonton.
This is a no-brainer for me, just because Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, they're #1 seed. I believe they're going to win in 5. I don't think this train with Chicago's going to keep going. And you think the Blackhawks would have traded away Robert Lerner.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, hey, hashtag, did you not check his background before you let him go?
Well, again, to be fair, it was the trade deadline. They were on sell mode because they were not making the playoffs.
And then this happened.
And then all of a sudden coronavirus happened, and here they are in the playoffs.
And now they're going against...
In hindsight, they wouldn't have done that, but yeah, they got rid of a good goalie, and Vegas needed to shore up their net there because Fleury has been injured. He's also a little bit inconsistent, and he's getting older. So they did a good job. Now, I will want to say that Vegas has a much better D than Edmonton. They have much better goaltending than Edmonton, and they play a much better two-way game than Edmonton. Edmonton's all about the offense, so I really think that at this point, Chicago, their train does come to a stop in Vegas, and I'm actually going break out the brooms for the sweep, and I know I called that last time, and Edmonton lost, so hopefully I'm not the kiss of death. All right. Now let us go to the Colorado Avalanche versus the Arizona Coyotes.
I don't know a lot about Arizona, so...
Phil Kessel's there.
I do, yeah, we know that, I was going to say the only thing I do know is somebody that eats lots of hot dogs. But, I don't see Arizona stopping the Avs. However, I do have them just knowing a little bit of Arizona, trying to learn about them. I think they're going to go to 6 games.
Yeah, I would agree. Listen, it's all about McKinnon, and it's all about Hall. Hall on the Coyotes versus McKinnon on the Avalanche.
Like, some are saying this might be the upset.
I think the Avalanche have better, faster
team.
They're younger. I think they're
what
defensively, they're even slightly better. I give them the edge in goaltending.
Yeah.
So I'm going the Avs. I mean, can the Coyotes surprise? Yes. But I really feel like the Avs, if they play like they've been playing in the regular season, they should do. And the Avs actually, didn't look. Were good.
They didn't look great.
No, but the qualifying round.
I know.
Not the qualifying round. Sorry, the round robin for the reseeding. I think a lot of these teams realize this is not the real playoffs.
So we're not going to bring
it.
in the.
Yeah. So why try super hard? Who cares if you're the number 1 seed or the 4th seed?
During that game series, then you'd look like.
So I mean, that's where there's a little bit. If you're basing all that based off what you saw there, you might be in for a little surprise in some of these teams. All right. So you said. 6
I said
games?
the Avs in 6.
And I also said the Avs in 6. All right, so let's move on to the Dallas Stars versus the Calgary Flames, and I'm going to start on this one. This one actually is very interesting to me because Dallas, in the regular season, they're at 21st in goals scored, okay? They don't score too many goals. And in the 3 games for the round robin, they scored only 4 goals. Okay, so that's continuing. They are defense. This is going to be, well, if Dallas is going to win, these are going to be low-scoring games. I see it going 7 because low-scoring games, 1-goal games, depends who's on the right side of it. But the problem I'm having is the Flames. They are about offense. They know how to score goals. So if they score a few goals, Dallas is going to have a hard time making up leads. So they cannot play from behind. And that's why I'm actually going the Flames in 7. I think they edge them out. But get ready for really close games with very little goals scored. And that's the only way Dallas stays in. If there's a lot of goals scored, you tell me that, you watch one of the games and there's 10 goals scored, I'm thinking, Calgary won that game.
I'm telling you right now, I totally agree with the fact that I'm picking also Calgary in 7. Interesting stat, Cam Talbot posted a 1.51 goals against with a .945 save percentage in the 4-game victory over Winnipeg, which was the number 1 best stats. I think that alone, that is enough to give them the edge over the Dallas Stars. I do agree with you that that it's going to be a low-scoring games.
Yeah, well, again, if Dallas wants to have any chance of winning this, it has to be low scoring.
Yeah.
Because they don't score goals, so it's going to be interesting. That might be a little tedious to watch, but
yeah,
we'll see how it goes there. All right, the last game, the defending champs, the St. Louis Blues versus the Vancouver Canucks. Let me start on this one also. I do want to say
but they didn't even win a game in the round robin. You know that?
The Blues, yeah, they did not. But here's what I want to say. They have really, really, really good goaltending. Let's remember how they did it last year, okay? And Binnington, I think that he is going to be the difference here, just like he was last year. I also think that the Blues, the team that won the Stanley Cup the year before, they played more hockey than anyone else. And they get tired. But that shouldn't be a factor here because everyone has been off for so long. And the way the Blues played in the qualifying was... Not qualifying, sorry, the round robin was like they were still off. So
yeah.
I still think, though, they're going to win. I actually think it's going to go 6 or 7 games, but I'm taking the Blues over the Canucks. But if the Canucks upset them, I would not be surprised. Like, if I'm a betting person, I'm staying away from this series.
Agree. This could be easily a toss-up series, pending lots of stuff. We don't know. The free agent goaltender Jacob Markstrom capable of outdoing Jordan Binghamton, Binghamton in the other end. Like, it could go either way. I will go with. It's funny. A lot of games we are predicting going 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
Except for you have one sweep, right?
Yep, Vegas sweeping Chicago.
I mean, like, I have a lot of these games going. I have this one also going 7.
yeah, all my rest of my games are 6 or 7.
And I am picking St. Louis just because of the defending champions. And even though they didn't win a game in the round robin, which I think is really funny, I think that they also didn't show up for that on purpose. And I think they're going to be ready to play in this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, I mean, listen, our team might not be in it, but hockey playoffs still some of the best sports playoffs that you can watch.
I agree.
And we're going to be watching them. We're going to be rooting some teams on. Personally, I'm rooting for Vegas just because of Fleury. I know you have some love for the Colorado Avalanche.
I mean, the Sakic.
Yeah, and there are teams I want to root against, even though I have them winning, like Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah.
Washington Capitals.
The Washington Islanders thing is a must-watch.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, I think, if you look at this year, and Boston, Carolina.
Yeah.
That's actually another stat. Boston swept Carolina last year out of the playoffs, and I feel like Carolina, kind of the way, the Rangers swept them during the regular season. I think, Carolina used that to really go after the Rangers. I think they're going to do the same thing against Boston, which is why I have Carolina over Boston also. So if you haven't, go and do a bracket challenge on the NHL Network. I filled out mine. We'll see how I do. So do we have all our games picked practically the same? No, you took Tampa Bay, or did you take...
I've got Vegas in 5.
Yeah?
I've got Avs in 6.
Yeah.
Flames in 7.
Uh-huh.
Blues in 7.
Okay.
Philly in 6.
Yep.
Jackets in 7.
Yep.
Islanders in 7.
Gotcha.
And Canes in 5.
All right, so we have actually picked completely the same. I mean, not the games might be different, but the winners is what we picked completely the same.
And funny is that we did not even talk.
No, we did not. So that's pretty good. So we will see how it goes. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like, subscribe, do all that junk, and enjoy the playoffs.
Yeah. Tom Wilson sucks balls.